Welcome and thank you for taking the time to attend the webinar entitled Delivering Leads at Close. I'm Judy Logan and I'll be the moderator and one of the presenters today. And so before we begin, just a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to be answering questions at the end of the webinar, so feel free to submit them during the presentation. The Q&A panel has been enabled, and so if you have a question, just make sure to go to the panels in the lower right of your screen, maximize the QA panel, and select all panelists when submitting your questions. So today's presenters, as I mentioned, I'm Judy Logan, and I have been a marketer for 20 years. I've been working with companies large and small, including Apple, Netscape, and HP. And I'm now Director of Customer and Partner Marketing for Act-On Software. We provide award-winning marketing automation software used by more than 3,500 organizations worldwide. And Act-On is a leader, according to Forrester, in the lead to revenue software category for both small and medium businesses as well as enterprises. Our next presenter is John Mertic. John manages the Strategic Alliances program for Sugar CRM and has several years of technical experience bringing solutions to market with several Sugar CRM technology partners. A frequent conference speaker and an avid writer, he has been published in PHP Architect, IBM Developer Works, and the Apple Developer Connection. John is the author of the book, The Definitive Guide to Sugar CRM, Business Applications, and the book, Building on Sugar CRM, Creating Applications the Easy Way. And Sugar CRM is a customer relationship management software solution that enables businesses to create extraordinary customer relationships with innovative CRM solutions. So they're recognized by leading analysts as a visionary company, and Sugar has more than 1.5 million users in 120 countries. And so last and most important is Jesse Heller. Jesse has been in marketing and business development for 10 years. His marketing experience has roots in film and television, legal services, payment processing, and software. And right now, Jesse is the marketing director at Fay Business Systems Group, and they are a Sugar CRM and an Act-On Platinum partner. Fay BSG has a team of software and technology specialists with over 25 years of expertise in CRM and ERP software. And Fay BSG was just named to the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies. Today what we're going to talk about is how to cross the sales and marketing chasm that has traditionally existed, and then we're going to go through a case study. Jesse's going to tell us how he has solved this problem and how he's delivering better leads. And then we're going to go into how to deliver better leads for your organization. So traditionally, in fact, just a few short years ago, or at least it feels that way, when I first started my career, the role of marketing and sales was just vastly different. So the job of marketing was really just to provide air cover. We were really focused on doing things like advertising and event marketing and doing things that were really just for brand building. We were not really expected to generate large quantities of qualified leads. And, from a sales perspective, that made marketing seem fairly removed from the day-to-day deal closing. And so sales teams knew that they needed marketing for that air cover, but they were self-sourcing a lot of their leads, doing a lot of cold calling. They were really like the infantry, where as we were providing air cover, they were the boots on the ground. And they were in the trenches working really hard, spending a lot of time qualifying opportunities prior to closing them. So except when I worked in field marketing, there wasn't all that much communication or alignment with sales. And, the sales and marketing departments, we sort of had a wall between us, and we had different concerns. We had a different set of responsibilities. We even had different terminology, and ways of measuring success. So we were all sort of doing our own thing and operating in silos. But now, the world has changed so much, the marketing world, and now there are a lot more CMOs, a lot more marketers in the C-suite, which means that marketers need to be really data-driven, and you're focused on results. You need to have real data to make business decisions. And now those results have to do with delivering and qualifying leads so sales can convert those leads into customers quickly. And we also have a responsibility to retain those customers that we acquire. So, that's a whole new world. Whereas before we measured according to these metrics that were around things like advertising reach and frequency or even calls to an 800 number, now we have a whole different set of metrics that we're held accountable for. And, the key performance indicators now have a lot to do with a prospect's digital footprint and educating and nurturing someone as they're proceeding through their journey with your product or service in terms of their buyer's journey. And so now the metrics are more around number of website visitors, the number of leads, cost per lead, pipeline velocity. All in all, the new KPIs, all those key performance indicators, are really focused on a direct tie to revenue contribution. So, the bottom line now really is the bottom line in today's marketing world. And, so now the marketers have a bigger responsibility. We need to manage the entire customer life cycle, from attracting people to the website all the way through the buyer's journey, and then post-sale to nurture those customers so that they stick with you. And the slide right here, it says automate lead to revenue, but really it's automating lead to revenue and beyond. And so with that comes a whole new imperative that John is going to walk you through.
Thanks, Judy. Yes, as Judy has pointed out here, it's not so much more. It's not enough anymore to have a marketing team and a sales team, and they're both having their own goals of what they're trying to achieve. You have to be aligned. And in a growing organization of today, they won't support. They can't grow if they're not aligned. It's just the bottom line of how it is. And these superheroes on both sides, they have to have common goals. They have to be working together for each other. They have to be both thinking about, what is that customer that we're trying to go after. They need to be working together in the bottom line, and they have to have the same metrics for success. A growing organization will not support marketing and sales teams that are fighting against each other constantly. So now we want to stop here and kind of ask the audience and see where you guys sit right now. I know sales and marketing teams getting along, that has traditionally been a pretty contentious area. So how aligned are your teams? And so we have a poll coming up here. If you look on your WebEx slide here in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a poll question there of how aligned are your sales and marketing teams? Are you completely in sync with one another? Do you rarely speak, kind of avoid each other in the hallways? You talk a lot, but it could be a lot better, or is it just really complicated? So we'll give everybody a little bit here to answer these questions here. We're really kind of interested in seeing, where does this stand here, and how aligned are your teams together? Is this something that's really been great for your organization, or is there work to be done? So we'll pause here for a couple seconds, give everybody a chance to answer. And if you hopefully see it right in the bottom right-hand corner is the poll, so you can select the multiple choice option and then click on submit when you have made your answer here. And we'll give everybody here about 10 more seconds here. If you haven't already answered the poll, please go ahead and do so. Okay, let's go ahead and close the poll here and take a look at the results. So, not surprising, a lot of folks in here in the "it's complicated, we talk a lot, could be better" category. Let me tell you, that's not a unique thing here. One thing that we've found is this is the basis for kind of a business problem across the board. We did some research on Forrester coming into this webinar, and we wanted to think of, how big is this a problem actually amongst organizations. We found Forrester says 8%, not 88, the number 8% of B2B companies say that they have tight alignment. That leaves a huge chunk on the other side here, this 92%, where the alignment isn't working. That's a huge problem. That's a business problem the organization is going to look at and realize this is what's holding them back from growth. So it's key for you to figure out, how do we cross that chasm? How do we get to that point where we are working together? So from a CRM vendor perspective, we talk with lots of customers globally, big and small, and we work with them on how do we transform their process from lead to cash. And the one thing that we have found across the board is sales, they don't just want leads. They don't want a list of 100 people or 1,000 people to call on. That's not what they're interested on. They want people that are ready to buy. They don't give me just 1,000 names. They want 100 that are ready in front of them, ready to make a buying decision. They're BANT qualified. They're ready for them to work at. And if you think about it from their perspective, you completely understand this. If they're staring a large quota in the face, so if they're spending time on the phone with somebody that's not interested in buying and maybe just clicked a couple places on your website and responded to an email here or there, that's a dead-end lead, and that costs them time and money. I believe that crossing the chasm is about getting that marketing and sales audience speaking the same language. And that same language, it's not talking about leads. Leads is not, just having leads is not the problem. It's leads that close. And maybe your sales team calls them opportunities. And if you think about it, a lead that closes, you can't do that with just having a name and contact info, but you need that full breadth of insight of what's this person's background? How did they get to you? How do you best engage with them? Is it over phone? Is it over social? Is it over email? What are the challenges that they're seeing them having? The more, and what industries are they in? What company size are you dealing with? The more of that data you're providing your sales team, that's how they can actually get on the phone the first time. One of the things here at Sugar we push really, really heavily is creating a user experience that enables that customer-facing professional to have that meaningful conversation every single time they are on the phone. And if that customer-facing professional, that salesperson, gets on the phone with that customer and they don't hit that point, it's a harder road for them to actually go to close that deal. So if you're giving them that insight, if you're giving them that background, you will, not just maybe, you will be that trusted ally of every single salesperson in your organization. They will be coming to you to find who's that next person that we can talk to. So you're probably listening to this and you're saying, okay, John, got it. Leads, look, qualified leads, not leads. Great. Get it? So how do I get started with it? And I'll be honest with you, this is not an easy task. It's not trivial like it sounds. What we found is the companies that are successful in driving, getting these leads that close through their marketing effort, there's a lot of trial and error involved. It's not just flip a switch. You're going to adjust some messaging or changing nurturing paths. A lot of playing, with the various parameters along the way here. Trying to understand what that highly scored interaction looks like, and using a lot of the things that Judy was talking about earlier in the presentation as the objectives to know whether I'm on the right path. Companies going through this journey need the right tools to make this process seamless and measurable. Measurable is really the key thing in there. You need to have data measurement. So having the right tools to manage it, to manage these campaigns and the process is critical. Even more important is getting the insights that you have found as a salesperson or as a marketer, transfer those to your salesperson so the first time they make that interaction, it's meaningful as possible. Jesse Heller who's going to come on here in a moment, he started with Bay Business Systems about a year ago, and he had this very problem. He was a marketing team. His team was managing marketing, but the tools he had and the measures he had in place, it wasn't turning into sales results. He had no insight into exactly how to make that happen. Then he refocused his marketing efforts on the combined platform of Act-On plus Sugar CRM. And with that combination, he is now the trusted sales ally for his entire team. His sales team looks to him for leads that close. So with that, I want to transfer it over to Jesse here, and he's going to walk you through on that transformation that he did at Bay Business Systems and how he's turned his marketing efforts into true sales results. Jesse?
Thank you, John, for that wonderful introduction, and Judy, thank you as well. Hello, everybody. Very excited to be chatting with you today about what we did and how we have put these two tools together. So just, again, about my company that I work for, FayBSG. So we're a leading sugar and Act-On Platinum partner, and we're software and technology specialists. So we've got about 25 years of expertise in CRM and ERP software. Today we are using Act-On and Sugar to drive our business, but I wanted to let you know the story about how we made that work for us and how, we can make this solution work for you. So on the cover of today's Wall Street Journal, there's an article headline to a marketing post buried in the back of the personal journal, which is where most of the marketing stuff is. They give you a little teaser, and then they shove it way in the back of the paper where nobody sees it, but I always look every day. And the title is The Making of a Marketing Machine, and it's essentially a behind-the-scenes look at the business savvy of tennis sensation, U.S. Open runner-up Caroline Wozniacki. And the article addresses the fact that unlike other professional athletes, Wozniacki has this desire to push beyond traditional athletic sponsorships into new ventures. So this kind of sums up what we were able to do with Act-On for Sugar. At the end of my portion of this presentation, I hope that I can communicate to you this story and the fact that in order for what we needed for our business to rise above our competition was that we needed to have both marketing automation tool and CRM software to manage our lead to revenue. And most importantly, the two needed to be integrated, seamlessly and deep, and in a way that it is incredibly easy to get prospect information to my sales team. So here is that story. A little data on our company so you can kind of see, gauge our size and stuff. Essentially we're software resellers and innovators, but our company has about 20 employees and a small and mighty marketing department. There's only a couple of us. And we knew that we needed marketing automation to complement our deep roots in Sugar CRM with its insane flexibility for customizations. So we began evaluating marketing automation tools that could communicate with our Sugar. I want you to know that I had zero previous experience setting up a marketing automation tool before this. I'd worked with them before here and there, but I had never been handed the task of fully implementing one for a company by myself. So the point I'm trying to make here is that you should know I am not a super tech savvy guy. I don't write code or drive a manual transmission. I drive a Prius, and in fact, I could barely build a simple 3-shelf bookshelf for my 3-year-old son's room from IKEA. So upon evaluating our first marketing automation platforms, we found that the first major issue was that it just wasn't providing us with an end-to-end lead management system that could communicate seamlessly with our Sugar instance. So because of this, our sales team couldn't utilize it. We couldn't utilize the tool, which is our ultimate goal. We had no clear way for marketing and sales to efficiently capture leads and make those leads actionable. And with that, we couldn't officially come up with a system where marketing efforts could contribute to nurturing leads, cold leads or dead leads, or even our current clients. Our tracking system was solely in the hands of our sales team, which, is fine for some companies, but this system was not helping us over that entrepreneurial wall. And then adding to this frustration, we didn't have an automated way that we could identify our hottest prospects based on our marketing efforts and their behavior with our website. So now we have leads and intelligent ones. After many months with other platforms, we began evaluating Act On back in March. And since March, our incoming lead flow has just about doubled. Our marketing strategy didn't really change in any drastic way, but what happened was that with the use of Act On with Sugar, a few things happened. Our website has become an IED minefield of different ways in which we can gather information about the people and how they behave on our site. That feature alone isn't really something that's identifiably unique to Act On. I'm sorry to say, there are other tools out there that do this. But what we found with Act On, like I find with Apple products, is that not only does it just work, but it works ridiculously well. And it's in one place. And most importantly to us, all this information is available to our entire sales team within Sugar. We have the ability to see in Sugar, with the Act On integration dashlets, all the different ways people are interacting with our website, which forms are being filled out for more information, or who's attending what webinar, and all of this information is pushed into our Sugar. What we love is that when a form is filled out by a visitor, not only do we all get an email instantaneously with all of that information that was filled out, but all of this data is pushed instantly into our Sugar. And because of this, my sales team gets to benefit from our marketing and lead gen efforts with instant gratification. And they view this data in their own Sugar instance without me having to push out an email or get on the phone with someone, find the relevant salesperson and alert them to a lucrative sales activity that has occurred. They get to participate in that. Sorry, I forgot to show you guys some bullet points here, just to reiterate what I was speaking to. So here's a little screenshot of lead scoring. And we had tried setting up a lead scoring system before with some other platforms, but what we found was that the data just was getting lost in between the marketing automation tool and Sugar. And frankly, what we found with this information, it was just sitting in our automation platform. It wasn't being utilized. It was just priceless information being wasted. And obviously, lead scoring, it's a very powerful way to help your salespeople know who to follow up with first. Most of you may know how the lead scoring system works, but if you don't, and I didn't, it's pretty simple. You just assign points to different people in ways that they interact with different marketing initiatives, and then when they reach a certain score, you can trigger all sorts of valuable stuff to happen. The sales team can see who has reached that threshold, what they did that got them there, and what to speak to upon their next call with them. You can score everything: email clicks, website pages visited, webinars registered for or attended, physical and virtual events, video viewing, collateral downloads. And I don't know if I've mentioned this, but our sales team can see everything right there on their home screen in Sugar. Here you have a couple of screenshots of what Act On looks like inside of Sugar. The main picture in the forefront shows you the Hot Prospects dashboard, where you can see lead score and activity timelines. In the background, it's a little hard to see, but this is like everything that our salesperson needs in one quick shot here that they can look at and find out what activities are happening and what's trending. So essentially, we call this sales intelligence. So this is like an aggregate data for reporting and trend watching and aggregate data on an individual that indicates next steps for our sales team. Additionally, you can see here some of the other dashlets that are available, how many numbers of emails that have been viewed and all of the tracking information that goes along in the activity history for, Mr. William Taylor in the background there. You have campaign results and conversions, marketing automation reports on campaign results and conversions, help me become, as a marketer, accountable for a portion of sales revenue, which is why I was hired. And this information was traditionally siloed from sales. So now as a marketer, I get to be part of the profit continuum. And then inbound marketing-wise, these features can track AdWord conversions, providing intelligence and guidance for maybe a media buy or establishing budget spends or keyword optimization for organic searches. And then as a marketing, from a marketing database access standpoint, my salespeople can access these entries in their database so they can see this data, which includes just so much amazing information down to demographic and behavioral information or search terms used. And we all know when a customer is ready to buy and when it's time to close the deal based on this data. So here is a graphical interpretation of drip marketing and segmentation efforts. So what that means to me is these cute little raindrops here represent timeless hours I spend creating email campaigns targeting specific segments that I may be marketing to. And I kind of like the idea of these moist, docile cartoon raindrops as an interpretation of what other people might view as, maybe annoying spam. But the fact is, if you aren't emailing your audience with a strategy in place to give you actionable behavior, you're kind of just sending a useless email. And when these beauties hit people's inboxes, the way they interact with them will contribute to my overall lead scoring system I have set in place, which we can then measure and report upon with incredible accuracy and visibility inside of Sugar. Most leads require some level of nurturing prior to becoming sales ready. Someone's not going to receive one email and buy your product. So we developed a set of nurture programs with Act-On that cold leads can be warmed with and turned into qualified sales opportunities for our sales team. So sales is really spared wasting time on leads that won't ever be sales ready. Characteristics and behaviors can be scored, and leads that pass a scoring threshold can be passed from our system to the sales system automatically, which helps our sales team prioritize who to call that day and even that hour. Here's an example of the first nurture program that I set up with Act-On. So basically what I did was I created a target list, or what we call an Act-On as a marketing list, based on a specific industry. This one happened to be, at the time, we were targeting the advertising and specialty industry. We had some success with that industry, and we wanted to get our foot back in the door with them. So I uploaded a target list into Act-On, and then I sent out our regular email communication to this audience, the same emails that I send out to our clients and customers. And then based on the way that they responded, Act-On would trigger this nurture program that you see in the back that was specifically created for my target list. And as my target list members hit certain lead scores, Act-On pretty much did the rest. Targets would be converted into actual leads based on these scores, and then their new records would automatically be created inside of Sugar. The email notifications would then go out based on these activities, and our sales team would be notified it was time to make the first human interaction. This particular campaign happened to lead to a handful of new clients that are currently considering or demoing sugar for their business. And in the front, there's a little screenshot of a template that I used for this campaign that I built with the templates that are in Act-On, which I'll speak to about in a second. So in my previous company, before I came to Fabius G, I worked in a company that had 30,000 employees and 200 people with the exact same job title as me. Emails were handled by one department, creative was handled by another department, and then tracking was by another department. With Act-On and Sugar, I'm now able to do all these activities myself. I don't really need 300 people getting involved in a campaign and, log jamming my efforts. It's not that a large team wasn't valuable. It's just that it's not the type of company that I work at now. And I have the same powerful marketing tools that they had and CRM tools, for a 30,000 employee company, but I'm doing it pretty much by myself because I have the tools in place to do it, easily, simply, and efficiently. Our sales enablement is just like those big guys now. My sales team has all this information right there in front of them. Our website, as I mentioned, is a lead management engine supplying specific actionable advice. And the campaigns look amazing. I don't need a creative services department queuing up my email designs and promising me I might get a template back in 4 to 6 weeks. I can create an email on the spot and they look awesome. It's simple and clean designs with, tons of professionally designed templates that actually, it looks unique to you. You can make it look unique to you. And the editing features are simple. I don't need to know HTML or graphic design to work with these things. It's just simple and easy, and there's not a single dollar we spend on an external agency to do them. So to bring this all home, we discovered that to effectively and efficiently acquire and retain customers, we needed to pair a marketing automation tool with our Sugar CRM. Some companies start with marketing automation and maybe they eventually get to a CRM solution, or others start with CRM and then move into marketing automation. Either way can work, but ultimately you're just not optimizing your leads and opportunities unless you're working with both. And as I mentioned with Act-On, you can attract leads and give them to your sales team when they are sales ready, which is just awesome. With Sugar, you can create, with incredible visibility, you have all the tools to track the activity from the leads, from the time they are given to sales, through the opportunity stages until they are closed. With both, you can make sure that your sales team has all the information that they need about their prospects to close and win that opportunity. And after you acquire that customer, you can nurture your customers using marketing automation and ultimately creating advocates for your brand and your company. And one of our sales reps, Joshua, he mentioned to me that ever since we added Act-On to Sugar, he's now able to quickly and easily access a wealth of marketing information in a single snapshot. The more in sync he said he is about how a potential customer is interacting with our website and our marketing initiatives, the better prepared he is to have a meaningful and relevant conversation. And before he picks up the phone, he looks straight at the dashboard in Sugar. So that's kind of a lot of details crammed in there. But if you wanted to, if you're interested in hearing more from me personally, I'm happy to talk to anybody about, in depth more about the features that we implemented and what's been working for us. My contact information is there. You can, email me or call me at any time. I'm happy to talk to you about this. And like I said, we couldn't be more thrilled with our end result. And with that, that pretty much sums it up. So Judy, I'm gonna pass it on back over to you to take over presenter rights.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jesse, and thanks for telling your story. Just wanted to let people know that we are going to answer some questions. So have a couple, but if you have additional questions, feel free to go to the Q&A panel, select all panelists, and we'll take them. But the first question I have is for you, Jesse, and it's really, how do you decide when to give a lead to sales? I mean, how does that process work? How did you get that alignment going?
That's a great question. So what we did was we worked with our sales team to come up with the characteristics of a qualified lead. And then we backed that into the scoring system that we set up from there. So our scoring is fluid as well. Really the key is starting somewhere and then, scaling it down and figuring out until you get the most qualified opportunities to sales as quickly as possible, which is kind of, speaks to the metrics that Judy was talking about as well. So where you need to improve and what steps you need to take to change things, and nothing is set in stone. You can constantly reevaluate and revisit, and I did that all the time. Originally I had the system based on, I think I was tracking emails a little bit higher than I should have been, and I went back and said, people are reading my emails, but what are they doing after that? And I kind of evaluated the data and said, well, these people are doing this, but these people are just reading the emails and deleting them. So they really don't get the same score. They shouldn't be receiving the same score as the other group. So we just went back and edited the numbers, and ever since it's just been extremely effective and efficient. So I don't know, Judy, if that kind of answers your question.
Yeah, I think it does. But if there's a follow-up for the person who submitted that, then feel free to ask. And then the next one that we got in actually is for me, so I guess I'll ask myself the question, which is how long does it take to set up the integration between Act-On and Sugar? And so the answer to that is that it's a short. It not take very long. It takes typically under 30 minutes to get that up and running. And the best part is that you do so with the help of a customer success manager. So you can set up your data syncs and import your lists all at that time. And for those of you who aren't yet Act-On customers, so Act-On provides a customer success manager for the length of the subscription, not just while you're getting set up. So, when you're ready to do things like expand to take advantage of the integration between the native integration between Act-On and Sugar, you actually have somebody to walk you all the way through it, which is pretty unusual. But the platform is robust, and there are a lot of aspects to it, so that's helpful to have that person to walk you through the process. So those are, and then there was another question that came in that was really both for you and I, John, and it's really about how can you give me an idea about pricing? And I guess I'll preface my answer by saying that one thing that's so great about working so much with Sugar is that we have similar philosophies about pricing. Both Act-On and Sugar have pricing that's really clear, predictable, and in fact published on each of our websites. And so, John, I guess I'll answer first, and then I'll send it to you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So Act-On pricing is based on the number of active contacts, and that's the number of people that you are actively marketing to during a particular month. And pricing starts at $500 a month for 1,000 active contacts on an annual contract. and that includes access to the entire platform, and as I mentioned, the customer success manager as well. So everything it's an all-inclusive thing. And you can go to our website. There's a pricing page directly from the homepage, and you can see how that scales depending on the number of active contacts you have. So that's what the Act-On pricing looks like. John?
Yeah, and Sugar is a similar pricing model. We're per user per month, 35, 60, 150, 35 our base professional edition. It does a ton. You have mobile clients, you have reporting, you can deploy on our cloud or on site. That's kind of a unique feature thing for your growing business. As we have a lot of customers that have compliance issues or things like that they need to go on site, or they're doing a very advanced integration outside of Act-On. Act-On's a really simple one, but they're doing some more advanced ones to back-end ERP systems or analytics platforms. They might look to specifically do it on site. They can do that very easily with our product. As you move up the scale here, our $60 a month is our enterprise package, and that you're getting more of the enterprise features, better enterprise opportunity and forecasting management, phone support, an option to go into a private cloud in our on-demand instance, more storage, kind of the things that you would need as you're kind of getting up into a larger scale account. And our 150 is our ultimate package, which is for those large corporations. They need that technical account manager and a lot of extra support and things along the way. That's really where kind of the piece is going there. Sugar does have a 10 minimum user license seat. So the minimum purchase is 10 user licenses. But it's as from a product, if you're looking at it from our competition, there's a lot of great CRM vendors out there. Our pricing is straightforward. More straightforward than our competitors. It's simpler to understand, just the same way as Judy's saying with Act-On. But most importantly, it's a predictable one. So there's no hidden charges for API calls. There's no extra little charges for a mobile client or things like that kind of pop up that we've seen with our competitors. Ours are very simple. It's flat, it's easy, it's predictable, and these are the sorts of things that really, from you as a buyer perspective, it helps set your budget needs at ease because you can really predict what my CRM is going to cost me over a period of time. So I see we do have a question in the chat.
We do, and it says, can this, from Peter, it says, can this service be integrated with multiple external landing pages? So who wants to take that one?
Well, Jesse, I guess what's your kind of experience? You've done this in the wild, so how is that?
External landing pages. I mean, Peter, are you? I mean, I'm not really clear on the difference between external and internal landing pages, but there's a whole functionality about building landing pages within Act-On. You can take the URL from your website, enter it into the landing page tool, and create an exact replica of a landing page, which I suppose is what you mean. That would be an external, page. And I use these all the time. I'll create a landing page specifically around a specific event that we might be hosting about sugar, and then send it to a specific target audience, and I can track the analytics behind that page in a unique way in comparison to the actual original URL that's on our website. So I can say maybe I ran a LinkedIn campaign, and I wanted to know exactly how well the landing page did from an analytics perspective for that particular campaign. Instead of having all of my analytics jumbled up into one, it's all right there. You can see it within Act-On, all the data for that landing page. So I hope that answers your question, Peter.
Jesse, I can add on to that. For clarification, in Act-On, yes, we have numerous customers that do have their own landing pages, and by all means you can tag and track whether it's our landing page or an external landing page. It's very simple to do. So just, yeah, there's multiple ways of doing those things.
Okay, we have a question from Lucas, it looks like here. And this looks like it's kind of directed towards Jesse. You said that opening email wasn't as valuable as you would think. What kind of lead activities have you found most trustworthy and valuable score-wise?
So for us, because thanks, Lucas. It's a great question. For us, our core business is, centered around CRM and ERP software, and we have tons of product pages that are dedicated to those. And so if I was sending out an email to that audience and, they were reading it, maybe I sent out 15 emails and someone read 15 emails. The fact that they weren't doing anything else made me realize I was contributing too much to that. I wanted to see if they're going to the site and filling out a form. And so, what's really trustworthy and valuable score-wise for us is what happens after the email. And that type of activity, for us, we hold much more value in. And then, the coolest thing about that is that, when that person becomes a lead, I can see in his timeline in Sugar going back in time to every single page that they visited. So if I see that this guy is visiting our Act On page on our website 10 times in 2 weeks or something like that guy needs a call ASAP. So for us, that type of activity is really valuable. An email is just the start. But it's one necessary piece, but like I said, for us it's just that first step. So we hold a lot of weight on website activity and webinars attended and actual forms being filled, much more so. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. So let's see. I think that was the final question that we had here. So I just wanted to thank everybody for taking the time out of their day today to attend this webinar. And as we may have said before, we will be sending out the presentation as well as the recording for everybody who registered. And again, thank you for taking the time to learn about how to deliver leads that close to your sales organization. Thank you very much.